Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. This is Franchise Summit, where we help our prospective franchisees to know our industry leaders better and to evaluate the business opportunities after hearing from them directly. My name is Ashita Marya, and I'm the CEO of Franchise India, and we'll help you today to assess and unleash the risks and opportunities involved in the Procter franchise opportunity today. Franchise India exhibitions from past about 22 years have been providing a platform to thousands of investors to evaluate the businesses, the franchise opportunities for themselves by coming face to face in our about 100 plus shows nationwide. But going ahead in these times, we are doing the similar activities virtually and helping our investors meet with the franchisors online. So we have today Nishant with us, Nishant Agarwal, who's the founder and the CEO of Procter. Procter is an edtech startup that has pioneered the digitization of education and test prep institutes. We also have with us Vineet Rungta. He's a CA and a business consultant currently who's consulting Procter. And EdTech, again, a startup. So both of them have got, a lot of experiences. Nishant himself is an MBA from a leading foreign university. He's a serial entrepreneur himself. He's been involved, in fact, the founding member of a startup like LegalLink.jp for SMEs. He's also founded Let's Cargo for SMEs. So he's pretty much been focused on the requirements of this particular sector. So both of them, I think, Nishant and Vineet, make a good pair and is really working hard towards Procter and to make it successful. So today we'll hear from both of them directly on to the opportunity that they have for us. So we can hear from you now.
Thank you, Ashita, for the nice introduction. Good evening, everybody. Right. So regarding Procter, basically, we have been running Procter from last 4 years. We started this edtech startup in year 2016. So we started it as a basic platform wherein we could provide a communication platform between teachers and students. But as we moved on over the years and we dive into the market, we saw the opportunity and the problem is much bigger than what we were trying to solve, right? And we started developing our product, and as we got more feedback from our customer segments, we kept on developing it and providing new features, functionalities. And today we have been offering multiple solutions to different type of educational institutions, wherein they could manage their backend operations, they could communicate better with the students, they can teach online using our platform, they can sell their courses online. So all these things we are providing in a single platform to all the institutions which are tied up with us. Probably I could walk you through the presentation. That would give a better idea. So basically Procter was founded in year 2016, as I already mentioned. So we are based out of Pune. We started this business in Delhi, but in year 2018, we moved to Pune and we are heading from Pune only. We are serving 2,500 plus customers now, which are widely spread across India and outside as well. We are a strong team of 50 plus team members. So EdTech, as we already know, has been growing leaps and bounds from last 2-3 years itself. It's a COVID which has speeded up the pace. Probably we are ahead of time now. I think due to COVID, probably we have increased the pace by 2-3 years now. EdTech is expected to grow from 2.8 billion to 10.4 billion in just a span of 5 years time. So it's a great opportunity for any EdTech company which are operating right now. And since we have been operating from last 4 years, so we know the know-how of the market. So we have been leveraging on the same. These are some of the impact we have done in the market. We have tied up with 2,500 plus institutions till date, which comprises of 15,000 plus teachers who are teaching on our platform. We touch to 1 million plus students right now. They are using our platforms to ease out their lives. And these customers are spread across 125 plus cities in India, outside India, both Coming to the products we are offering, we have basically two product lines. One is a Proctor LMS, which is majorly for informal educational institutions. In this platform, we not only provide a platform wherein they can streamline their backend operations, but they can come and teach online as well. They can sell their courses online. They can conduct online tests. So this is a very unique platform wherein we are providing them each and everything right from their startup to until they become a very large institution. And we not only basically provide these facilities to the teachers or the institutions, but our target audience is actually the end consumers who are benefiting from it. Those are learners or students. We provide multiple integration options with various platforms like JustDial, Sulekha, Razorpay, payment gateways, SMS gateways, whatever we could think of which are useful for the institutions, we provide all such integrations to them. We provide a branded app with their own name so that they can establish their brands in the market. We provide a completely safe, secure, and scalable platform, right? So we have our customers basically from say having maybe just 10 students to having maybe few lakh of students as well. Proctor for Schools is again another innovative product we launched, wherein you get each and every module in very much detail for the management of the schools and to communicate with students. There are enormous number of features we provide, and most important part is any other platform you go to, basically they charge a commission fee on the online payments which are happening through their platform. In our case, it's really low actually. So that is one of our USPs. A lot of payments are being done online these days. So this is again a very highlighting part. I would request Viniji to take forward to discuss more about the channel partner and the pricing part.
Thank you, Nishanji. In regard to being a channel partner, I think every channel partner is interested in to know two things. What is the entry and what is the exit? If in case something bad happens, then what is the exit cost? So I think in our case, we have the most ideal scenario where entry cost is basically a kind of an advance payment for a certain sales commitment. So for example, in tier 1 city, you have an advance payment of rupees 1 lakh. This is to be adjusted against whatever sales you have made. So basically your entry cost will always remain zero. It is merely a pre-sales commitment. So one thing is that your cost is zero. Secondly, if you exit any day, you don't find it to be feasible or whatsoever. If you exit any day, you don't have to pay anything extra and you don't have any infrastructure cost that you are bearing. Correct? Our infrastructure requirement is completely zero. We don't require any office that you need to have, any standard structure or anything. You can work from home. You have to visit schools, educational institutes. Even you can do that online by calling them through mobile. And even you can work as per your requirement hours. You can do this early in the morning. You can do this late in the evening. So it can be comfortable, synergized with your other existing part-time or full-time businesses as well. Secondly, another thing is, in any case, when you do any business or franchise, it always gives you income to a standard format or a limited time. Likewise, if you have taken a restaurant business, franchise of some restaurant, it will only give you income till that restaurant is running. But once you close this, your income source will get closed. In our case, once you have sold a product to a particular school or an educational institute, then your income will continue till the point the school is continuing with us. So your source of income continues even if you stop further making any extra efforts. So that is the most important point. Coming to the rate of return, I will say, if I am taking an example that you are selling our product to 100 schools only, 100 is a very small factor because seeing our product and quality and services, 100 is a very low factor. Even if you have sold to 100, then the pricing that you will receive is 100 into 10,000 plus a recurring per year. The saving that you will make on 100 sales will be approximately 18 lakh rupees per annum. This is your income that will be resting in the hands of the channel partner. So on an investment of rupees 1 lakh, income of rupees 18 lakhs per annum recurring, I think that's a huge figure. Now, what extra some channel partner needs? The extra thing is, he always says at a certain point, 18 lakh ho gaya. Now what extra I can make? So I need to announce one thing today, that we are coming up with several value added services which will be rolled out in the coming future. These value added services will be payable and the student will be our end user for the same. In the cases where the value added services are being rolled out, the channel partner will be the key factor and would be operating in that case, and he would also receive some part of that income. So that will be an added advantage income that the channel partner will be receiving. And the lastly, all support and everything rests with the company, and channel partner does not have to make any efforts once the sale has been closed. Nishanji, I think after sales, you can come up with.
Yeah, I'm on it. Yeah. So basically, after sales, there are many other things which are being involved. So the partner's job is just to get the sales done. And after that, everything will be taken care by the Proctor's team itself, right from setup, training, and providing regular guidance to the customers, then adding new features, functionalities to the product, doing regular updates, new developments, maintaining all data and security. So all these things will be taken care by Proctor's team itself. The channel partner need not worry about anything. And in addition to that, as soon as they get onboarded, we provide them sales training as well. We provide them all digital marketing content as well, which they can utilize to market themselves in the local areas. So complete support is provided to them. And we already have partnered with the multiple channel partners across cities, and they are actually benefiting from it. So it's a simple process to get onboarded with us. So you just need to get in touch with our team. I will share a form with you. Once we agree on the terms, we sign an agreement and you start receiving the training, and then probably you start selling it. The biggest advantage, basically investing in us, is basically there is no physical infrastructure required. There is no investment required as such, as Vinitji already explained. And it's a recurring income which you can keep on making year on year. And it will keep on adding actually if you still continue to be partner with us. So it's a huge opportunity for anybody who is joining us at this point of time. These are some of the customers we have across globe, and they come from very different cities and different backgrounds. As you could see, there are some English speaking classes. There could be MBA coaching classes. There are colleges. There are different type of schools, like Kohima College is there from Nagaland probably, and there are DPS, Doon School. So all these different type of customers are using our platform. And moreover, for partners, I would like to add is wherever you go, in any city, any street, anywhere, you will find a lot of education. It's top my screen share. Yeah.
Thanks, Nishant. Thanks for that. This is interesting. So I wanted to understand from you, when you say that you give school solutions, what all does it cover? And how should a franchisee approach to a school or an institute, like you just said, to get the solution? I mean, how do they tell the school what, from 1 to 6 things that they do for these schools, and what kind of schools do really, require these solutions?
Right. So to answer your first query, how to basically what all it contains. So it contains actually each and everything right from the first touch point of the student. That is when the inquiry is received from the student, right? To the admission or onboarding process of the student, then fees, and then probably inventory, transport, asset, anything, whatever is involved to manage the backend operations, that is there. Then coming to the second part of it, it has online teaching facility. You can take online exams from the students. You can get online assignments submitted by the student. So all those features which are required by any institution to interact with students, it's all available. It's both combined ERP plus LMS, actually, learning management system, that is there. Coming to the second part of it, how they can approach to the schools. So usually, probably Viniji, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. See, point is that there are various type of schools. If I segregate them into A, B, C, and D, whereas D having small schools ranging from 200 to 300 students only, and A-level schools who are having some 2,000 or 2,500 kind of students. So probably what happens is the A range has already got something in their kitty. They have developed their own softwares or have some white labeled softwares or something. But the B, C, and D category have got through this COVID period by utilizing Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or some of the free live streaming softwares. So these schools are still not ready with these kind of infrastructure. Now, the product that we are providing is going to help them manage their school structure, because these schools also do not contain a lot many manpower, which can have taking daily attendance, maintaining fees registers, account books. So our software is basically going to help them out. Like imagine all the attendance that you are taking. So that is happening on the system directly. You don't have to maintain registers. You don't have to do anything. It is maintained. A student enters the school and attendance has been taken by biometric means, face recognition or thumb imprint or whatsoever. Imagine now for school admission, a student goes on an online link, registers himself, and school gets the complete list of registrations that have come up. So instead of going so many paperwork and analyzing those paperwork, wasting so much of productive time. So basically the system does the help for you and analyzes those things and helps you out to this. Now coming to the approach part, when you approach these B, C, D and category of schools, definitely the first point they come up with is any of the competitors are providing the software in say 50,000 as one-time setup fee, and ranging from rupees 5 to rupees 80 per month per annum. Sorry, per month. This is rupees 5 per month per student. Now, this price is too high for a school having say 500 students. If they are paying on an average rupees 10, so paying rupees 5,000 per month is a bit high for them. So in that case, we come to the rescue where our pricing is very low. That can even go down to say rupees 2,000 as a setup fee and 500 rupees as a monthly recurring fee. So that is as low as a price which any school can bear the cost. And they can see that, yes, I would be gaining so many extra advantages and rather saving so much stationary and productive time. So that will be actually beneficial for them. Now, coming to the further point, every school says, when you go to a school which is having 500 students, they say, we don't have, our strength utilization is 80%, 70%. So what we will say is that in future to come, we are going to roll out a feature whereby the students that are in your nearby vicinity, you can approach them as an advertisement. So you can utilize your unutilized space of 20 or 30% where you are not getting students. You can approach the prospective students targets and they can come to you, because there are many students who don't know what is the performance of a certain school. So we will be acting as a bridge between the prospective student and the school so that one can utilize their limits and optimization completely.
Okay. So as you said that, a franchisee only approach the school or the institutes for both, for management system as well as learning solutions.
Yeah.
So does the setup for learning solutions is something which is at a higher price? And if yes, then what could be the range of that?
No, it is not at a higher price. The price that I have just said is includes everything.
Okay.
It is only that where added services are required, like for say, there are video content today which are played in the smart classes. So if video content is required, that is being provided by certain vendors. So one can choose that which vendor video content I like. Every school can choose that. So according to that requirement, they can pay for the only video content that they are streaming.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that in any case would be outsourced.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So, any franchisee who comes on board, you give them any kind of a geographical right, or you say that this area is something, you know, that you are the only one who can approach those schools?
Yes, it is an exclusive right franchise. If we have on the dealing day, we have said that say Delhi belongs to you, then all leads even coming to us directly would be rerouted through the franchise only. Nobody will have the right to sell in that geographic area.
Okay. And since, you know, so now, since if the geography rights are there, does the fees that they give you vary city to city? Because the potential of one city will be different from another, or, you know, even in tier 1 to tier 2 or tier 3 city would differ. So
Correct.
is it different? And if it is, then how different it is?
What we have done is we have given a very flexible plan to the franchise. We will give them one simple price cost that which is costing to them, which is very, very meager. Correct. And they can decide their own price which they are offering to the school. Suppose if there is a small school having only 200 students, they can offer them a price of which I already shared, like 2,000 rupees and recurring 500. If there is a larger school, they can also offer them say 10,000 rupees setup fee plus 3,000 rupee per month recurring cost. So this variable part we have left completely with the franchise. They can variate it according to the deal that they strike with the school.
Okay. Okay. But ultimately, what a franchisee gets is from you. Is that standard, or that varies from the kind of revenue that he generates?
That is just like, suppose we are offering a franchise the license cost in such a meager price that this question will not arise even. Correct. So I cannot just reveal that price here in public, but the franchise, when they come for the deal, they will come to know that it's such a meager price that they won't even bother about it.
Okay. So what differential does it have? You know, say for example, if you say that, you know, as a product also it's qualitative, and the price also is lower in terms of when a consumer, which in this case would be schools, you know, who would buy it, and end consumer who's using it would be students.
Correct.
So if that quality is also higher and you're offering a, you know, comparatively a lower price, and the franchise fees also is not that much, how would that work into a business model?
Yes, as on today, when Google came, everybody questioned how are they running. When Facebook came, the question was the same. Today, even YouTube question is the same. Now, talking as of our startup, we have two goals which are completely separate. One is a social goal and one, yes, is a business goal. The business goal, yes, we are having various value-added services which are going to cost to the ultimate consumer. That may be the student, that may be the school. But that will be a completely separate service other than the product that we have provided. No part of the product will be again chargeable. Correct. So like if as I shared, in case of the video content, that is an added service which we will be providing, and they would be charged on that part. So definitely some part of the revenue we would be earning out of it. Similarly, there are hundreds of services we would be providing, and those will be completely value-added service, which will be the wow factor, the kind of service that nobody has today. Even the child every day requires that service. Shayad koi mujhe ye service de de. Like I tell you, when I was in 11th, I used to go to school by my bike. Now, one day it was bike got punctured. So I sent it through my staff. There he told me that there are some other problems as well, and it will take 3-4 days to get it repaired. What other alternate do I have to go travel to my school? The bus won't allow me for 4 days, and no minivans or nobody will cater me for 4 days. I have to take an auto, which is very costly. But here there will be a service which will be coming up in the next 6 months to 1 year, where you would be able to get just like a shared taxi. Several other students may be traveling on the same ground. So you may be able to get a shared taxi to the school. So that will be kind of a taxi service where which is currently on the ground like Ola, Uber, etc. So there are many such kind of services which would be coming with. And these will be value-added services, making the life of the student easy.
Yeah, that's interesting. So is there any term that is defined that, schools should hire these services for this period of time, or, this is mandatory?
See, as in the school, they have already bought the product. And once they have bought the product, it is for a lifetime. And we are not selling anything to the school in the product itself. Correct. Product is sold, it is sold. After that time, we would be rolling our services in the time to come. Say in the next 3 months, you would be rolling 2 or 3 services. So in that case, if the school wishes that this particular service is useful to me, they can buy that service depending upon the time frame or whatever they wish to buy it.
Okay, but there's no term that you specify that, this product will come to you for this long. I mean, say for example, there's sometimes restrictions in the product that you have to stick to us for at least 5 years or 10 years or anything like that, or it's
no restrictions.
No. Okay.
No restrictions, and this is the beauty of it, that there are no restrictions and you are getting at such a meager price.
Sure. So what is the percentage of consumers that you have today? Is it more institutes or is it more schools, or it's both?
See, basically, as Nishanji defined you, that we have 2 products. Correct. So one is basically based on the educational institutes, the academies which are going on, the tuition classes, etc. And one is based on the schools part. So as in based on the academies, we are already doing it for the past 3 years almost. And as in on the school part, we have launched this product only 2 months back. So definitely, because one is running since 3 years, we have many clients on that part. But in the case of a school, because it's only 2 months old, so we have already made some 15 channel partners which are on board. Out of it, more than half of them are international. So mostly 7 countries we have already have channel partners as on date. And as on schools, there are almost, I think, 150 schools which are already enrolled in the last 2 months.
Okay. So is there any territory in India which is already blocked, or you're looking at finding out partners in every city in India?
We have some territories which are blocked, but those are very less. Those are only 7 cities yet. And now I think because there are several leads which have flooded up in the last 15 days, but we are in the process of selecting the right candidate, because the thing that we are providing, we are getting leads, but those need to be qualitative. One needs to be very sensitive and very diligent about the franchise which they are taking. Correct. Because when I discuss with you that there are 2 goals that we are having. One, I have already said, the second goal is a social goal. We also need to see that the responsibility towards the India that lives there in the villages, that also get equivalent kind of quality education that they deserve. Correct. So today they are getting teachers who we can see on YouTube videos that don't even know ABCD or something. There are problems. So we would be giving them the best education, and that too on a either very low cost or no cost.
Okay. So is there anything, you've spoken about a franchisee, is there anything that you look for in particular, whether it is academics or anything, which is kind of you say that these 4 things has to be there in a franchisee. We can't do away without it.
See, the most important part with a person who takes the franchisee is how his interaction with the schools are, how he looks forward with us. Correct. We do not want that anybody who comes up with a mere 3-month or a 6-month plan or is going to test things should be coming up, because the kind of things we are offering, we know that there is no factor is missing. Nobody can say no on the basis that you don't have this thing or that thing. Correct. So we want to see that the franchisee who is coming up with us has to have a long-term goal, need to have a hunger of doing business. That is the most important part which should be there.
Any academic qualification or any learning aptitude?
Not exactly. Academic qualification is not very much required, but if he is something like kind of a graduate, then things will help out, because when you are going to talk about it with the senior management of the school or say the principal, then a definite necessary level of presentability is required.
Sure, it does. And anything, yeah, please.
Yeah, one thing could be add on if the partner is already related to coaching institutions or educational institutions.
Yes.
That will definitely add up things, but there is no restriction as such.
So a franchisee gets both. I mean, somebody who comes on board today, he gets both the opportunities, right, to offer to an institute and schools?
He can opt for it as well. However, we are offering both of it. If he needs to no, I will be taking this part only, then we can offer the remaining part to the other franchisee.
Okay, so in that case, his territory rights you can offer to somebody else, right, if he doesn't want it.
Correct.
Okay, so is there anything that you expect from him initially, wherein if he starts working, is there anything initially that you expect from him in first 3 months or 6 months as to that, this is a minimum thing that needs to be achieved? It could be in terms of work, it could be in terms of spade work or on-ground activities. Is there anything that you expect from him to do so?
See, we have kept a minimum criteria, which is for a 1-year period. The franchise fee or the security deposit fee, I must say, that we are taking is against a 1-year commitment of sales. So that needs to be fulfilled. That is it. That is a minimum performance criteria that we are taking as a commitment.
Okay. Is there any training that you're giving him or he's undergoing? I'm sure he would need to understand what services schools are getting and how, they would have to go across further onto it. I understand all the services is what you would give them directly, since it's on cloud, right?
Yeah,
it's available. But is there, and what kind of training and for how long do you give it to him?
There will be a complete training where he will completely understand the software. Plus, he will also be made understood how you can approach the schools, what points you can explain them, where things are missing, where the need of the school is there. Further, it is probably a 5-day training. However, it depends upon the learning speed of the person as well. He may end up in 3 days, he may take 7 to 8 days as well.
So that would be physical in nature, or it's
online training
distance? Is good. Online. Okay. All right. And how would the monies and his payout works?
Actually, he is going to bill to the client directly.
From
day one.
Okay, but he would do it himself. The company would not do it.
The company is not going to bill to the clients. He would be billing to the clients himself and taking the money. He will be depositing those documents and the receiving with us so that we can continue the license. So that part will rest with him. We would be actually, our fees is only one time. It is not recurring.
Okay, so but then, so the franchisee need to form a company first.
Not necessarily. It can be on a proprietorship basis as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that he requires? Would you help him in local marketing, or as you said that, if you get any lead, you would share with him. but is there any activity that is being done particularly for them, or he needs to do it?
As in talking of activity, we are doing it on many social media sites like Facebook, Insta, and LinkedIn. We are already doing activities that will help him to generate leads. And we would be definitely presenting his contact numbers on our pages. Plus, whatever leads we are receiving against these social media activities will be forwarded to him according to his territory. In schools are something where physical activities do not affect it, because principal and the senior management and the physical activities do not reach to them. Correct. So here we will be focusing on digital activities, and that may be targeted onto the relevant people.
Okay, okay, that's quite interesting. And when he is there anything, as you said, Nishant, that you would, if in case he's from an educational institute, it would help. Do you suggest that the people who are running the institutes is something which is very interesting for them, or somebody from an educational background, and this could be probably not a full-time work or a part-time work? If yes, do you prefer people working, on the project on a part-time basis or a full-time basis?
So basically what I meant was people who does not work at the institution, but probably there are other vendors, like maybe there are publication companies, right? So there are publication companies at local level wherein they are providing already some other services to schools or these institutions. So they could be our partner because they already have good relation with these institutions. There could be local shops, stationery shops, wherein they provide stationery to maybe multiple schools or institutions. So they could be our probable partners because they already have those connections. So it will be beneficial for them as also to sell just another service to them.
Okay. Okay. But so is there anybody who's probably not looking at it as a full-time? Would you prefer him also as a partner?
Yeah, absolutely. No issues.
Right.
As I already mentioned, that this is a kind of franchise where you can fit in your comfort area, because normally a school works up in early in the morning or late in the evening. Right. So you can fit up your comfort area. And as you just asked that question, I will tell one of our channel partners is basically a owner of a school, and who is also having good connections with other schools, because there is a union of schools formed up there. So he's the president there, and so he has taken a channel partnership. So yes, anybody who has connects and can see a prospective business into it can be a channel.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. That's an interesting example. So do they have, can they sub-franchise it also, or can they refer the channel partners, or can they come under them? Or if somebody is interested that they get in touch with, they forward it to you directly?
See, I think they can keep their own employees for approaching schools and marketing. But sub-franchising would be a tough task, because if the chain increases, then the quality to the school will get deprived. The initial approach will get deprived because there will be communication lag in the chain. So the sub-franchise part, we will not basically cater with. If somebody is doing it unofficially, then that is another thing.
Okay. Okay. So, and otherwise, other than this, as you've just told us that, you've got plans for VAS, the value-added services which you would offer to channel partners or to the schools. Is there any other plan apart from this getting into it, so that a franchisee can see a long-term association with you, not just today? Since you just hinted on that, even if he's not working actively today, but he's worked actively in past, he already has clients, then he would enjoy that fair share of recurring income with him, which is a very interesting thing, that till the time the schools are there, you're getting a share out of it.
I will give you one example. Say there is a client A who has become a channel partner. He has paid, he is there in a tier 2 city and paid 50,000. Against that, he has sold, say, some 25 licenses. Now, out of that 25 licenses, he would be getting a recurring income of 75,000 rupees per month. Now, even if he stops working, this 75,000 will be coming to his kitty every month till the time these 25 schools are using this software. So one thing is this, say schools are using this for the next 20 years, he would be receiving this amount in his every month for next 20 years. One thing. Secondly, this does not end here. See, our plan is not to give only this income to the channel partner. This is basically to build a base to the channel partner so that he can focus on our business and have a consistent income. Correct. Now, the second part is how to increase his income. There, whatever value-added services will be rolled out. There, we will also include the channel partner as a rollout partner, and he would be active in the usage of those services. There also, he would be getting some part of the income, which will vary from percentage to percentage on those services individually. Every time we roll out the service, we will have an agreement and we will have a discussion with the channel partner, and there we will disclose them what they are going to have in their kitty, and they will be having that extra income on that value-added services.
Okay. Okay. So that's quite interesting that, they can be a part of, a bigger stream, and they have an opportunity to keep going back and maintain their relationship also, and something extra to offer so that it can help both schools entity as well as for themselves.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting. In fact, it's been a good good talk and good information, and I think it's the need of the hour. For this opportunity, there's a lot of gray market out there which can be tapped. With the help of channel partners across the cities, because we have areas wherein we still work in a very, very conventional manner. But I think, as you've rightly said in past, Nishant said in his introduction that in past 9 months, EdTech has gone probably 7 to 8 times than what it should have been.
Right.
Otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's rolling very, very fast. Very fast. So I think that's very interesting opportunity. But I would still, tell the people who are listening to this that, for any further information or for any further question, you can get in touch with Vineet or with Nishant, or you can write to us for any information that you require. But, still make an informed decision. Opportunity for today's time, which have gray areas, which have virgin markets available, are always interesting to work for. This particular opportunity involves a lot of time from the entrepreneur himself. So if you have any further things, dig into it. You want to investigate things, please do so. Ask questions, don't hesitate in doing that, and make an informed decision. So it was good thing, that you, both of you, took out time to spend with us. It was a very good conversation, with both of you. Any last thing that you would like to share or, ask or tell to our visitors who are listening to this? Anything that, you would want to talk about as an opportunity as to why this could be interesting for them to, look in for this as an option for them?
Nishantji, you first.
Yeah, basically, definitely, we have been enjoying this from last 4 years, and probably especially this year and going forward, I think it's an exciting opportunity. And there are a lot of other things which are coming in. So probably anybody joining us at this point of time would be a good time for them and for us as well. So connect with us whenever you think it's the right time for you.
I would like to say only one thing. For those people who have dreams, if you have a dream, come together. We will live that dream for sure. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Vineet. Thanks, Nishant. Thank you so much for your time. And, if in case there's some more questions, we'll surely get in touch with you to answer all of those. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, all viewers. Thank you.